Welcome to Get Practical with Ruchika Garg episode 1. What we do in the Get Practical series is pick questions that our viewers have asked on different social media platforms and we answer it here for you so that everybody can benefit from this. So today's question is, how can I deal with anxiety? Now let me give you a disclaimer first. If you have levels of anxiety which is very difficult to manage, please consult a therapist. What I'm going to tell you now is going to help you. Whatever you can pick from here, please feel free to use it. Please feel free to share it to help others as well. But I cannot say that if you listen to this video, your anxiety is gone. That's not true. I cannot claim to do that. So first, let's understand what is anxiety. Now, anxiety is an experience which is different for every person. Okay, usually there are 4 components of anxiety. The first is on the thought level. Usually I have seen that the people I have worked with as a therapist, they say that during anxiety they have a flood of negative thoughts where they start to feel guilty, they start to question themselves, they start to question their own worthiness, they feel that they have made a bad decision about something, they start imagining scenarios that could go wrong, like what if this happens, what if that happens. They start assuming a lot of things. So this is the first thing, that on a thought level, anxiety is a very terrible experience. The second thing is on an emotional level. Now, people usually experience this unsettling feeling during anxiety. Okay, there's a lot of emotional unrest, very high levels of discomfort during anxiety. A lot of people, most of them feel the emotion of fear that something will go wrong. Okay, this is the second thing on an emotional level. The third thing is the experience of the body. A lot of people get palpitations, like the heart is racing, okay, during anxiety. Some of them have perspiration, they just start to sweat. Very few of them also have breathing issues. So this is the experience in the body. There could be muscle tightness and just overall feeling of discomfort in the body. And the fourth thing is the behavior. People who have anxiety usually start to avoid situations where they feel they could have an anxiety attack. So a lot of people might start going out, they stop going out to their jobs, they start working from home, they start to skip college, they start to skip school, they start to going out to the mall, they stop going meeting their friends. So this becomes avoidance behavior. So these are the 4 areas where we experience anxiety. Let me just repeat quickly. Thought, emotion, the body and behavior. Okay, now how to deal with anxiety will mean how to deal with all 4 of them. So let me touch them one by one. The first thing is thoughts. Now, how to deal with this flood of negative thoughts that we experience during anxiety? The most important realization that I have when it comes to negative thoughts is we start to believe that all our negative thoughts are real because we are thinking them. Now, just because something is coming to my mind which is negative, some negative thought is coming to my mind, I start to take ownership of that thought, that this is my negative thought, which means I am thinking this, which means this could be true. But one thing, if you can just do one thing, okay, do yourself a favor and do not take ownership of all these negative thoughts. When I say this, I mean you believe that these negative thoughts are mine, I am thinking all of this. The bigger struggle becomes, why do I think so much? Why do I think so many negative thoughts? The moment you don't take ownership of these thoughts, you are dropping that struggle, that why am I thinking so much? Because then you start telling yourself, okay, these are negative thoughts. And just like, clouds are floating in the sky, we don't know which cloud has come from where. Similarly, some thoughts are floating in my head. Yes, these are negative, horrible thoughts, but I don't have to take ownership of all these thoughts. That's not my headache. Wherever these thoughts have come from, they can go. It's none of my concerns. I am not believing in all of these thoughts. When this happens, you will start to immediately feel some sense of calm, because now you know that all these thoughts that are coming in your mind, they are not even real. They are not accurate. They only make you feel worse. Okay, so you can actually just disown these negative thoughts. Just let them go. Don't try to stop them. Don't try to control them. The mind does not like to be controlled. Just let them be. Tell them that, you are in my space. Do whatever you want. I know that you are not real. Okay, so this is how you can deal with negative thoughts. The second thing is emotions. Now, it's important for us to understand that we don't want to feel these horrible emotions that we feel when we are getting anxious. And I understand, it really freaks you out when you have so many negative emotions. But the thing is, emotions are not meant to be shut off. The more you start running away from your emotions, the more they start piling in your system. Because when you say that I don't want to even look at this emotion, it's as if like, there's a lion, hungry lion in front of you, and you're closing your eyes thinking that, what, if I don't look at the lion is not going to pounce at me. But is that going to happen? No, the lion is there anyway, whether you look at it or not. Same thing is with our emotions. Those emotions, whatever are stuck emotions inside of you, they are already there. So when you choose to not look at them, you are like that child who's wanting to close his eyes and not look at that emotions. Don't do that. Build some courage to face those emotions. Embrace those emotions and let them be. Just keep breathing when you feel those emotions. Don't try to kick them out. Your emotions are already inside of you. You cannot kick them out. It's not possible. You have to keep breathing. Slowly you will start to accept your emotions. This is the most difficult part, and this is where I feel that people need a therapist. So I will not go beyond this about how to deal with your emotions. The only thing I can tell you is step by step you have to learn to accept emotions for what they are. Okay, now if you need more perspective on emotions and happiness, please watch my YouTube video, Happiness is a Scam, where I explain more about emotions. It's a very useful video. Now the third thing is experiencing anxiety in the body. Okay, now a lot of people, when we have anxiety is hugely experienced in the body. Palpitations, sweating, some people get breathlessness, they feel, some people actually get a panic attack because of too much anxiety. You feel you might have a heart attack. It's too much to experience. I understand it's way too much to handle sometimes, but if you can understand that these body symptoms that we experience during anxiety are a manifestation of these emotions, nothing else. Okay, emotions are experienced in the mind, and that is called the mental experience of the emotion. That is, I feel happy, I feel sad, and I know it from inside. But emotions are also experienced in the body. When I'm happy, my body language is different. When I'm sad, when I'm angry, my body language is different. So emotions are experienced in the body, and whatever you experience in the body during anxiety is the manifestation of that emotion that you feel inside. So again, it comes back to embracing, resolving and accepting those emotions. Okay. Now the last thing is behavior, avoidance behavior. One very important piece of advice for people who are avoiding situations because of anxiety. I understand what you're doing is justified, but here is the perspective, if you are open to listening to this. Life is more than just getting rid of anxiety. This is a hard pill to swallow, but this is something that all of us have to accept today or tomorrow, that life is more than just dealing with anxiety. And when I have seen people who tell me that this whole month I'm only going to devote time to working on my anxiety, to getting rid of this anxiety. Your heart is in the right place. Yes, your initiative is good, but if you are giving too much energy into just avoiding anxiety, then you are also losing out on other things you could be doing. Instead of channelizing all your energy to dealing with anxiety, I will suggest also pick up things that energize you in the first place. For example, meeting your friends, your hobbies, spending time with yourself, reading, cooking, dancing, singing, whatever you like to do. Do things that energize you. Okay, because that is going to level up your energy reserves. That gives you more energy to be yourself, to be grounded. So don't think that, my whole life is about fighting anxiety. No, it's not. Your whole life is about living your life for the things you have wanted to do. It's for fun. It's to achieve all the things you have dreamed of achieving. So also focus on those things while you are wanting to manage your anxiety. And even if you feel that you want to avoid going different places, then let me tell you that the only reason you're avoiding is you think that you might get anxiety again. But again, If you choose to believe that this thought is not true, it will start to hold less power over you. Okay, so just to be on the safer side, you can have a partner with you, carry a friend, a cousin, relative, somebody when you go out, but then start to go out. There is no point avoiding life because you want to avoid anxiety, because trust me, that's not how it works. Start living your life, take baby steps, okay? Take one day at a time. Don't just be motivated and just go out and do whatever you want. Take responsibility for yourself, take baby steps, and take good care of yourself. And at the end, I can only tell you one thing to summarize all of this. It's not your fault for having anxiety. Anxiety is because we were never taught to deal with all the negative emotions, all the uncomfortable emotions that we feel. And because they have been layering and layering and layering for a good amount of time, it's all of a sudden now exploded in the form of an anxiety or even a panic attack. So what you have to do is just be kind to yourself during this phase. Tell yourself, what can I do today that helps me take care of myself? Because I don't know when this phase is going to end. This is how you take care of yourself. Don't question yourself, why do I have this and why can't I get over it? This is not something you get over in one day or two, which is different from a lot of what people are claiming nowadays, and I don't know what they're talking about. This is something that deserves time, because coming out of anxiety is like growth. You grow when you come out of anxiety. Give yourself the time that it needs. If it's too much to manage, please consult a therapist. You can either get in touch with me or you can get in touch with any therapist that you trust. Okay, so you don't have to deal with this alone. Find help, be in touch with your friends, have somebody you can trust, and take baby steps, and it will get better slowly. I can tell you that. So this was episode 1 of Get Practical with Ruchika Garg, where I only speak about practical ways of dealing with real life issues. If you want me to answer some of your questions, please feel free to comment here or anywhere in my social media. Drop me a message with your question, and I will make sure that I pick the most relevant questions and I answer them in the coming episodes. Thank you and namaste.